Today we welcome co-owner and director of the GKN, Ollie Martin, to the non-league radio show. Welcome, Ollie.
Hi, pal. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure.
Not a problem. Well, we're going to talk about the GKN a bit later, but I'm more intrigued as well about your footballing career. So I want to know maybe your earliest memories of playing football.
I mean, it feels like a lifetime ago, really. I think that just shows how old I'm getting, or how old I feel anyhow. I started quite late compared to other lads. I mean, I only started playing when I was in my last year of primary school. So what's that, like 11 years old, maybe? I've never really particularly interested in football. I went to a few summer camps here and there before, the age of 11, but never really sort of took an interest to it. But then I think going towards the end of primary school, found foot of sport, football in particular. First sort of year, I tried out as an outfielder, wasn't good enough. Still not good enough now as an outfielder. But then I just thought I'll give it a go in net. I just give it a go in there. Played a full season and then obviously stayed in between ever since, really.
And did you always want to be a goalkeeper? Or was that just something that happened?
I guess it was just through, almost like last chance saloon. I wanted to play. I wanted to be in the football team. Loved playing it at lunchtime and whatnot. So I ended up going in net. I actually wanted to become a keeper because I went to my first Stockport County game when I was in year 6. And I don't know what it was. I think it was just like, because the keeper was the closest person to the supporters. They're like the people who you see straight away. And I was just like dead intrigued by it. So I thought, you know what, why not? I'll go in there. I was one of the tallest in my school. I think I stopped growing a few years after that. But it was just something that I've become really fascinated with, and obviously I've stuck with it. I've based my careers around it. Like sort of professionally and with football.
So I'm going to get into some of these teams you played for because some of them have caught me eye. But who was the first club? Maybe as you signed your contract for, or the first club that you played for before you signed the contract?
Well, I mean, obviously grassroots. I think everyone in England, in particular, starts with grassroots. So, I first signed for Stockport Junior Blues, just a local sort of Manchester team. Local to me, played for them and Reddish Vulcans before signing for Man City when I was under 13s. Stayed there for 3 years, and then I guess obviously you sign your academy your academy contracts there to play year on year. But I guess my first sort of proper contract was with Fleetwood Town, where I got my scholarship when I was 16. And that's obviously when you start earning money from football. You're playing football every day. It's full time. I'd probably say Fleetwood Town's really the first sort of stepping stone into semi-professional, professional football, really, as a goalkeeper.
Now, I mentioned the list of teams that comes up, but it says you had a brief spell in Sweden. How did that come about?
I mean, again, that feels like a lifetime ago. 2015, I was there. That come through the LFE, so the League Football Education. They look after the education side of things when you're a scholar in the football league club. I always had a really good sort of rapport with the LFE regional officer, and I just thought, why not? I was working at Sports Direct at the time. That season, I'd been sort of number 2 at Staley Bridge in the Conference North. That was full time, but I mean, I wasn't getting paid. I was getting expenses like every other week. I should have probably left a lot sooner than what I did, but thankfully the Sweden opportunity come about. That was a great experience. Went out there for 3 months. Team called Onger EF. I don't know if they're actually still knocking around these days. I know they did have a little bit of financial trouble a few years ago. But yeah, compared to what they were when I was there, it was like in the pyramid, the equivalent to League Two. The standard obviously was League Two, but no, great experience, and one that I'm thankful that I did, to be fair.
And I'm having a goalkeeper show this week, but that was another reason I'm getting you on. And I'm asking the guys about the training schedule. So what's your training schedule like on a weekly basis?
So, I mean, I obviously through the GKN, I coach as well. But at the same time, I also train. So, semi-professional. We've got Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. Mainly, it's probably going to be Tuesday nights are going to be games, especially going into the winter months. There'll be games that are called off, so they'll soon catch up. But then there's the training on the Thursday, games on the Saturday. But I mean, I'm coaching Monday evening, Wednesday evening. I train in the mornings with CK, my partner in crime with the GKN. We train in the mornings on Wednesdays. So yeah, it's I'm basically a full-time, part-time, full-time goalkeeper, really. And the best way to describe it, anyhow.
Yeah, and another question I've been asking the guys, Shane had a bit of a superstition, but have you got a routine before every game or a superstition?
I mean, I don't like to be late. That's the main thing. Yeah. I have more of a routine rather than superstitions. I was listening to Shane's and he said the typical like left boot on first, right boot second. But I mean, whichever boot comes out of the bag first for me. Obviously, I always prefer to probably, my left foot crosses the line first. That's something that I started doing this year. Before the game, I'll touch both posts, sort of, not hang off the crossbar, because I'm not that tall, but I'll, sort of touch all three posts or whatever, three parts of the goal, touch the crossbar after a goal or whatever. But yeah, no, I think as long as I've got a good routine on a match day, then I'm good to go.
By the sounds of it, you won't have much spare time, but do you play any other sports or what do you like to do for fun outside of football?
I mean, yeah, I wish I had that spare time. To be fair, I mean, I'm big into my fitness. I always have been since I was in school. So whether I'm in the gym, I'm on a rare occasion going on a run. But I like to I enjoy watching boxing. I give the training a go a few years ago, but it knackered my wrists up, proper crisp packet wrists. Thankfully, hopefully that's not the case anymore. But yeah, I mean, my family's they've always been big into golf. So I spend a fair bit of time sort of watching golf. Or my little brother's playing basketball now, so there's something there to go and watch and to sort of get involved in when I can. But yeah, you hit the nail there. Really, I've not got many spare minutes, to make time. So when I kind of spend time with family, just sort of wind down as best I can.
No problem. And who's the best manager or coach you've played for?
I mean, obviously the one that I've had most success with is my current one at Whitton with John Mackham. We were together at Radcliffe. That's where is the one we've had most success with. So I'd probably have to say John on this instance until we win something else with someone else. I guess we'll have to go with John on that one. But hopefully we can achieve something at Whitton, and then that continues.
Yeah. What would you say your best moment in your playing career is up to this date?
I mean, I've had quite a few highs, quite a few lows in football. Obviously getting promoted with Radcliffe was a huge high. I had a couple of relegations in the time, so that was quite a big relief. Sort of personally, that you sort of. But after a few relegations, you almost start to doubt yourself a little bit. So that season was a real sort of rise for me personally. So that I think the accumulation across the season probably meant the most when we went up. But there'll be other times, where I've had immense highs. Whether that's choosing out games away, like grabbing 3 points at the last minute or something, pulling off saves in the last minute to maintain a clean sheet. They're the little sort of wins and the highs that I live off, game by game, really.
No, excellent stuff. Right, the guys I've been speaking to can't speak highly enough of the GKN. So, I want to find a little bit about the history behind it, and then I talk about what's involved with the GKN and what and obviously I can say there's goalkeeper gloves, there's kits and everything else, but there's lots more to it than just that. If you want to just tell all about it.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'll say it. It's not in their contracts to plug us on the social medias and the radio stuff. So I'm hoping what they've said they feel 100% about. So that's good to know that the boys are supporting. But yeah, I mean, just a sort of bit of background on it. It's it is obviously a goalkeeping brand. Being a goalkeeper can be quite an alienating position, can be quite a lonely position. So we just figured we've got to look out for each other. So we've it's in the name really. We're a network of goalkeepers. First started off 2015. We just created a WhatsApp group just to try and connect as many keepers together. You might not necessarily speak to the goalkeepers after a game that you've played against, but now we've sort of created a little community where lads who might not necessarily speak to other keepers, but now they've got that sort of relationship where they might sort of go over in the warm up, say hello, have a drink in the bar afterwards, and there's that sort of mutual respect between them. And that's just one thing that's come from the WhatsApp groups. Some keepers get into clubs, and they get into certain training sessions and certain events and whatnot, and we've highlighted them. So that's the main part of the goalkeeping network. Is we always say it's not a small world; it's just a big network that you're in.
Yeah, and the guys
that rings true or not, but
the guys as well also said it's not just if they've got a problem outside of wherever or they've got need help with something. It's somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And it's like a community, or it's if they need to talk to somebody or whatever. It's a great place. Yeah, and like I say, they were talking honestly. It wasn't trying to plug anything. They were just they were saying it's a great network for people who, as well. If I know Shane's had a few issues as well, he talked about on the show. But that's great that they've got somewhere. People's got somewhere to talk and go and talk to people.
I mean, Shane, bless him, he's been such a great endorsee, and Cam, he has as well. They've been such great ambassadors and endorsees for the brand. We're obviously really, really happy that we've had them for so long. So I can't speak highly enough of the pair of them. But listen, they're not the only ones who sort of speak for the brand or use the brand for what it's intended for. We all have sort of low points, especially on Saturdays. It's such a roller coaster of a position to play in. I mean, me personally, I can't remember which game it was now. I think a couple of weeks ago, but we actually won, but we conceded late on, and I think I could have done better with the goal. So I've come into the change room sort of, should be elated with a win, but I'm slightly sort of disappointed, and I've sort of carried that over, gone into the group, got a bit of feedback, and just sort of it's a bit of an in place away from the sort of the like your Twitter and your Instagram where you can get hammered. The WhatsApp group's quite a safe place to speak. You're around your peers, and everyone in that group has been through the same situations that other people have. So there's plenty of advice there. Don't matter how experienced you are, what level you played at, what level you think you should be playing at. There's always someone in there who is doing that, and they can give sound advice, and that's something that we as sort of owners of the brand sometimes forget that we can use as well. Me and Chris are both like quite emotional people. That's part of the brand. That's part of why we drive what we drive in regards to the brand. So, like I say, hopefully that's seen across the board, and that's why people sort of want to get involved with the GKN, because it does mean everything to us that people are using the services that we provide.
And when did the GKN start? Sorry, Ollie, I should have asked earlier.
So 2015 started. Yeah.
Now I'm looking at the website now.
Sorry, Steve. I'm miles away. It's 2017. It started.
No, you're right.
It's because you got me talking about Sweden. That's why it's stuck in there. Sorry, mate.
No.
Yeah, 2017.
So I'm looking on the website, the GKN.net. Obviously, you've got kit there. Is that kit you from your own personal experiences for gloves that you've tried to develop? I'm not a goalkeeper, so I don't know if there's a standard glove that people wear.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't want it almost just to be exclusively for goalkeepers. That like a lot of people sort of can feel a little bit almost embarrassed being a goalkeeper. It's like everyone seems to want to be, the striker that scores goals and whatnot, and that's what you get all the praise for. But we want people to enjoy and express themselves as being a goalkeeper, and if you can look good, like that's part of people's confidence. That doesn't help if they're not wearing the right equipment, or they're not wearing good equipment. That can certainly ponder the confidence. So we look to provide the best sort of materials, the best gloves and kit that we can. Obviously we endorse it. We wouldn't put our name to something that is anything less than top quality.
No, and I could say obviously you do obviously do more than just gloves. There's training kits there, accessories. So there's lots of things there. The other thing next to that's the coaching. If you want to talk a little bit about that side of things from the GKN.
Yeah, so that's a massive part of the brand. It's it runs just alongside the gloves, just as big, and it gets us into places that we have done at the end of the day. It is taking us all over the world. It's taken us to Spain. Earlier this year, myself and Chris went over to Alicante City to sort of run a little showcase for the goalkeepers out there. Chris does an unbelievable job based over in Warrington of managing the coaching side of the brand. His expertise is second to none, and he's pushed the brand sort of so far, and he's done a magnificent job. But yeah, we specialise in one-to-one and group sessions. We've got a lot of experience at different levels. So depending on where you are, we can hopefully cater for some. And we are looking to expand into next year. The sky's the limit on where we can go with the coaching, especially.
Yeah, and there's some. I'm looking at the blog as well. There's some good things there on the blog, which I haven't had time to read, but I will read. Like transition into non-league, semi-pro mentality after a bad run of form, or like you said, if you've conceded late on and it's getting to you, and playing away from home. So there's some good things there also. Yeah,
the blog actually come around COVID time. See the season, I think it was 2021 season. I actually broke my leg about 4 weeks in. So obviously the season continued for about another month, and then it got shut down. Now, obviously, I was in a cast. I had multiple operations on my leg, so I had to sort of keep my mind ticking over. And I just thought, let's write a blog. A few of the younger keepers who were coach, and the ones who were sort of just coming into men's football, like they kept asking me questions, sort of to the side. So I just thought, well, I write a few blog posts. If people read it, then that's great. If people disagree with it, that's absolutely fine. It's there to be picked at. It's there to be discussed, and but they're mainly sort of my experiences. Especially like the transition from pro to semi-pro is massive. And we see it every year. There's loads of lads who come out of clubs, probably won't even know about non-league. I think it more so is now. Non-league has become a lot more professional than it was even when I sort of come out of full-time football. It's gone twice-fold. So it's important that lads sort of do a bit of research, because it can help. Like I say, if it's my advice, that'll help, or it's someone else's advice. They have to put themselves out there, and they'll reap the rewards from it.
And for any prospective goalkeepers or goalkeepers now listening, what's the best way to get in touch to maybe get involved with the GKN?
Well, I mean, as you can see, we're across all social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You name it. We're on there. Obviously, if you use the website, there is a chat function, so it takes you straight to WhatsApp. So you can speak to me or Chris, or if you get in touch with us, we can pop you in the WhatsApp group, and then you're in there. The key thing to remember with the WhatsApp group is that, first of all, it's absolutely free to join, and you're not obliged to wear GKN products. It's like, the bigger picture isn't for us to sell gloves. Obviously, we like to think the gloves will sell themselves, and we've got great ambassadors, who help us do that. But the main priority for the WhatsApp group is to have that connection, have that that solid network of your peers, and it's a safe space for everyone. So get in touch in whichever social media channel there is. I'm sure we'll be on it.
Yeah, I'll shout them out actually while we're on. So the Facebook is the Goalkeeper Network, Twitter is at the GKN, Insta is at the .GKN, and YouTube at the GKN. Ollie on Twitter is, I've got my glasses, OJ Martin _. And like I say, at the GKN's on Twitter as well. Nice and easy, the GKN.net website. So easy as anything. I'm guessing if you put the GKN in Google, it's going to come up straight away, because there's lots of places there. It's been great speaking to you, and I would love, if there's anything else you want to talk about, please go for it.
No, I mean, obviously, thank you for having me on it. I think it's a great show that you're doing, and obviously you're going to speak to a lot of interesting characters. So I enjoy getting involved in sort of non-league, highlighting like the highs and lows of non-league, and I'm always happy to have a little chat, and any advice that's out there, more than happy to help. But like I say, Steve, thanks for having me on. You're doing a fantastic job, man.
No problem. Well, you stay there for 1 minute, Ollie. But many thanks for coming on, and we will speak again soon.